Hey guys, it's Amy and Vince here, back with the Par-Loveshack. This is episode 8. Today we're going to talk about the bigs. We've taken a little bit of a break.
We
had
have.
a ton of family in over the 4th of July and had a lot of fun. And I think one of our next episodes we're going to talk about family.
Yeah. And I think the segue into the bigs, one of the things is that with the bigs, as most of ours are bigs now, we have a 15-year-old, we really get the 4th and Christmas break to all get together. I mean, that's pretty much it. That's what it comes down to, at least for our family with the sports and people working and having their lives now. So it's awesome. We look forward to the 4th every year.
Yeah, that's a lot of fun. I would agree that I think we have to plan for time, which will great segue into, I think one of the important things with the bigs is planning family time. In fact, just before this, I sent a family text that said, who is here for Sunday dinner? And that significant others included, which both of our two older ones have significant others. And then usually my dad, sometimes your mom, and whoever else is joining us, just so we can plan accordingly for food. But it's a great time for us to all get together, hang out, visit, and just enjoy each other's company.
Yeah. But getting back to the bigs here, I mean, we have our least amount of experience with bigs, right?
Yes.
I mean, we have all our kids are getting ready to change here at the end of the summer into the fall here. We're going to be 16, 19, and 21, which is crazy to even say.
Old numbers.
So yeah, those are big numbers. So, anyways, I always say too is that, after you're done with whatever your time frame is, you remember how we say, oh my gosh, I can't wait till we get out of diapers. And we're out of diapers. We both enjoyed every segment of the kids. Now it's a cool different, and we're kind of just getting into the beginning of it. But talk about that.
I agree that it's super cool. I think what happens in the bigs, at least what we found so far, is that we've laid the foundation. You've sort of been through the rules. You've been through the setting up the moral compass. You've been through the value standards in our family. You've been through the fights and the I'm making this decision for you. And now we're getting into, listen, you can do what you want to do. Here's our suggestion.
Right.
You're the one that's going to have to make this decision now because you are bigger, you're older, you're more mature, and you're an adult.
Yeah, and you're responsible for this decision.
Absolutely.
Now, right? Yeah,
so responsibility is a big one now. Now, a lot of things that we have worked on and laid groundwork for, they gets laid in their lap now. Now it's their time to decide how they're going to move on something, whatever it is.
And the cool thing is that we're watching them now, and for the most part, they're making great decisions. I mean, it's funny how they'll show this maturity, and then they'll retract real quick. Like yesterday, you walked down with a sandy bathing suit, and you're like, I feel like I've got a bunch of babies around here. You know what I mean? So it's kind of funny. It's almost like they say, yeah, you want to know something? I'm mature, I'm big, but I can still do this. Here's a sandy bathing suit right in the middle of the bathroom floor.
And literally then left to go to grad parties. I was like, what? Are we raising toddlers here?
Right.
He knows better than this. But
so I think it's just their way of saying, I can still do that.
Yeah, mom will get it.
Right.
Which in general I'll do. I'll probably bitch a little bit about it and let them hear about it later, but I'll still do it. I'll still pick it up. I think a couple things that we mentioned maybe early on in a couple of our videos is being available. And I find that that's super important, especially for our oldest who doesn't live here full time.
Right.
And I know for her, the phone calls, when I was getting up at 5 a.m. for work, she would call me sometimes at 11 o'clock at night and need to talk about something.
Yeah.
You're waking your butt up and you're getting up and you're taking that phone call because that's your kid that needs you.
Yeah.
So I think the availability thing now has become different. And I think the availability between me and you is different. She will call you, same with the other two. They'll call you for different things than they would call me.
Oh, yeah.
Or they'll seek me out for different things that...
Yeah, and you do good. You keep in touch with them. I mean, probably even more than I even know in regards to... I mean, I think you talk to all three of them wherever they're at before they go to bed every night, right?
100%.
Yeah. I mean, it's good night, Mom. Good, hey, this is where I'm at, Mom. This is what's going on. And it's kind of funny. I just sit here and I see that, and I know what happens, and when does that stop? I mean, when they're 35, are they still going to be telling you that they're
I
going
don't
to bed?
know.
I know.
That
It's
might
all
be
right.
another
It's all good.
episode, Vince.
Yeah.
Right now, I'm happy with that. One who's going to be 21 and is away at school is still saying good night, Mom, and checking in. And
Yeah.
if she slips and forgets, or I slip and forget, it's an apology the next morning,
Yeah.
saying, and for me, it's just peace of mind.
Yep.
That I feel good about where my kids are at, and I can rest easy as a mom.
Yeah, and you sleep a little better after that phone call.
100%.
That touch,
sure.
right? Yeah, so it's cool.
Yeah. So, responsibility, being available. What about guidance? Especially the oldest one. Well, really, our middle guy, too. He's not going the traditional college route.
Yeah.
He has decided to do a trade. He wants to be an electrician, and so he starts actually, ironically, tomorrow.
Yep.
With an electrician, new job. And so where does guidance come into play, and how much guidance are we giving these guys?
Yeah, I think, really, I mean, boy, oh boy, you start out, right? You're keeping the kids in between the rails 24/7, right? Now, I like to refer to it as almost adjustments, right? I mean, they kind of get going off this way, and you kind of, okay, this is where we're going. This is what's happening here. This is what you should be doing. So, I mean, I guess use the word guidance is a good term. You know what I mean? Now you're a tour guide, right? A life coach guide, but you got to let them go their own way. I mean, I think we knew that, Rocco, our middle is, college wasn't going to be his cup of tea. You know what I mean? I think that was, probably, junior, senior year for sure. But, that being said, is that he came out very quickly and said, hey, listen, I want to do a trade. He kind of, migrated to the electrician piece, and, it's, I think it's going to bode really, really well for him. He's excited about it.
Yeah,
He's,
I think so, too.
He's ready to get his life. And I think he's mature from a standpoint of, look at the summer. I mean, he's hustled, and he's, he's went and found jobs, little side jobs, whether it's mulching things or things like that, just around the neighborhood by knocking on doors and really going and getting his own, his own business, which I thought was really cool. He had a group of friends that were doing that. But, and the oldest, she's finishing up her, college gig. Here, she's a senior, but she'll have one more semester. She's got 2 years of eligibility to play soccer. But you can see her, they've matured to a point where, they're almost ready to say, listen, I'm ready. And I remember feeling this way. I'm ready. I want to go make my own money. I don't want to rely on my parents anymore. I want to do my own thing. And really, that last piece is, financially being cut from the, cutting that string. And I think that's a big deal. So.
Yeah, I think the work ethic thing that we laid groundwork early on that, and we talked about that, I think in the middles even, is that they've seen the work ethic that you've had. They've seen the work ethic in different arenas that I've had, and now most recently getting back into the working force. And I think they recognize, you use the example of Rocco, I think he recognizes that that's super important. Like, I'm not going to make it. It doesn't matter if I get a college degree. It does matter if I go and learn something, whether it's a trade or it's some sort of certification, whatever road you're going down, you have to have some sort of education.
Oh, yeah.
To learn, or you're starting at the bottom and then you're learning as you go, which is okay too.
Right.
We've all done it. We've all been there, whether we've gone to college or not. But
we just had this conversation with him. The problem was he wasn't, he didn't like school, right? I mean, that's really what it came down to.
He had no bones about
that. No bones about it, and that's okay. But I said, now, what the problem is that in order to be an electrician, you got to find a way, what things work for you to study, because you got education, you got tests and things like that you got to make. So when you got to dig in, it didn't come easy to you. Unlike our youngest, right?
Yeah.
School comes easy to her.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, it's just, it's she's a high 3.89 student, and I would tell you there's probably some runway for her to put a little more effort in there.
I would agree.
I think she could be a 4.0 student very easy.
I think so too.
I think we're going to challenge her this year on that, but that's once
Yes.
again the guidance, right? And we're going to get you in some AP classes. We're going to challenge you, and the fact of the matter is, it's not to, in my opinion, it's not to get a 4.0 in all of those, you know what I mean? Or somebody like that, it's good to get a B or a B plus, right?
Sure.
I mean, to fight through that, to see what what that means,
Right.
you know what I mean? So, Anyway, so that being said, you know, that's we just had an umbrella
It's a little bit windy out here.
fly past us, so which was kind of crazy. But anyway, so but it's cool. You know what I mean? I like the bigs. I like where we're at right now.
I do too. I think it's fun. It's fun to see them mature. It's fun to see them really develop into their individual self. I think also we talked about this all the way through too. How you talk to them as individuals is different.
Yeah.
How we address each of our kids is different. I think the moral compass, the value compass, the work ethic, the support system, none of that changes. What changes is maybe the direction that they're going and the delivery of how you're delivering.
There's no doubt. Yeah.
How you're delivering the guidance, I guess, to them. Because sometimes one will have an idea and you're like, that's interesting. Let's talk about that a minute. So part of it is also your reaction.
Yeah, which is tough,
it's
right?
Like, sometimes I'm like, oh my gosh, are you joking? Are they really thinking about this, to do this? And then taking a breath, stepping away from it, talking to one another, resetting and coming back and saying, that was interesting. Have you thought about this? Or let's talk about this further, and whatever it is.
Yep. So we've told the folks we're going to keep it to 10 minutes. You know, I think we're
15.
10,
I thought we said 15.
Okay.
What is it?
So
Is it almost
it's
time?
getting close.
We
so.
can't help ourselves. We just love.
Yeah, we enjoy it.
We love talking so much. But anyways, hopefully this was helpful to you guys. We did the what do we call it? The littles, the middles, and the bigs. We had a blast doing it. Next up, I think we're going to talk about family.
Okay.
I'm super excited about that. We have a great family, and I think, but there's lots of ins and outs to having a family, and
like anything, it takes work, right? I mean, families
sure.
don't just come by easy, right? I mean, you got to deal with the trials and tribulations, but that's next time, and and we'll go from there. But hey, thanks for tuning in. We're having a riot with this. Sorry for the maybe the bigger space in between. We're getting, that's funny. We go to a couple parties this past weekend. They go, hey, we saw your stuff, and that's what this is about, right?
Yeah.
I mean, this is about just having people. Maybe you're down in regards to whether the kids are going or whatever it is. You know what I mean? Just to maybe pick you up, give you some different ideas. We're not perfect by any means, and that's what our gig is. But hey, listen, have a great rest of your Sunday, and we'll talk soon.
Love you guys. Thank you so much. Bye.